Alright, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about solving inequalities by multiplication or division. Again, same idea as when we were solving equations, except these are inequalities, which means greater than or less than. Alright, once again, I apologize for the noise. We are still hanging out in Louisville. This is what the scene looks like now. Yep, this is us hanging out in Louisville. That's my little doc cam, my projector, and my work that I'm working on right now. And of course, our UHS students who have graduated, our seniors, who were fantastic this week, falling asleep on the couches, waiting for the plane to be ready for us. Alright, so here we go. The key thing here is when you multiply or divide each side of an inequality by a positive number, then the inequality remains true, so it stays the same. However, when you multiply an inequality by a negative number, the direction of the inequality must be reversed. Okay? So if we divide or multiply by a negative number, if it was greater than, then we have to change that to less than. And that's the key thing here to remember, that when you're working with multiplication, division, and inequalities, you're going to have to change the direction of the inequality if you're doing multiplication division with a negative number. Okay, other than that, everything is just straightforward. Just remember that little concept. Okay, so here's our first little sample here. They tell you, I have t divided by -6 is less than or equal to -4. So to get the t by itself, I need to multiply both sides by -6. Well, I'm multiplying by a negative number, okay, which we're okay with that, which means that's going to reduce. I have 4 times 6 is 24. 2 negatives make a positive, so that's good there. But because I'm multiplying by a negative number, you can see they went ahead and changed the direction of the inequality. You have to do that, otherwise it's not going to work, and that's the key piece here. After that, then they can go ahead and you can, of course, graph that solution. So if t is greater than or equal to positive 24, it's a closed circle going that way because it's greater than 24. Okay? Same is true here. If I take one that's going to be a fraction number, right? I have 4/5 of x minus 5 is less than 23. Oops. So I can add 5. That's not a big deal. No problem there. I get less than 28. And so I have 4/5 x. I want to multiply by the reciprocal. Multiply by the reciprocal, which means 1, 1, 1, 1. So x is less than or equal to this thing. I'm going to make that a 28 over 1. Reduce 1 4 in there, 7 4s in there, 7 times 5 is 35, and I keep the direction of the equality the same because I multiply by a positive number. Again, you only change the sign, the direction of the inequality when you're multiplying or dividing by a negative. Okay? And again, you could graph that out as well. So in this case, I had 0, I have 35, and x is going to be anything less than 35. So I can graph that like that. Okay, I'm going to do a couple more samples for you. Just here on the same page with me. Here we go. So to solve this inequality and graph it, we would divide both sides by 3. So that A, which is what we're left here with, is greater than 4. So I'm going to put a circle on 4 and draw my arrow this way. And so A is greater than 4. Open circle because it's just greater than. Okay? For the next one, as you can see, I'm working with greater than or equal to. So let's rewrite it real quick on above. We have 6 is greater than or equal to r divided by -2. So I'm going to multiply both sides by -2. -2 multiply, which means that goes away. 2 times 6 is 12, and a negative times positive is a negative. Because I multiply by a negative number, though, I need to change the direction of my inequality to go this way and make that work like that. So my number I'm working with is -12. I can see it's equal to that as well, so we can fill it in. And again, might help to rewrite this as r is greater than or equal to -12 to help me know how to draw that arrow. R is going to be bigger. It's going to go that way forever and ever and ever. Okay, let's do a couple more examples real quick just to make sure I'm on the same page. For number 3, I can go ahead and subtract 2, and so I have -3.1c. E is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, I can divide both sides by -3.1. Now, because I'm dividing by a negative, I need to change my sign to say C is less than or equal to, well, 0 divided by 3.1 is simply 0. Okay? So for that to work, the value of C has to be less than or equal to 0. Kind of weird, but it does work. Okay? So that's the idea. Here's another number 13, same idea. I would add 3, and I have 16 is greater than negative 2/3 y. Now to get the y by itself, what do I need to do? Multiply by the reciprocal. Negative 3 over 2 times negative 3 over 2. So this becomes just y, and that's okay. But because I'm multiplying by a negative, I need to change my sign to go this way. And then 2 over 16, or 2 and 16 is 1 and 8. 3 times 8 is 24. Negative times positive is negative. I'm going to leave it just like that. Okay, so that becomes some samples of what we're doing today. Again, the key thing is just change the direction of your arrow on those inequalities if you're multiplying or dividing by a negative number. Otherwise, it's all the same. Okay, give it a try. I'll see you back here for homework check in just a bit. Alright, so here we go. Let's check our homework here. I'm going to work off to the side because there's not a lot of space here on the paper once again. You probably have the same problem, which is always a little frustrating, but that's okay. Saves, I guess, printing, I guess. So we have negative 8 is less than or equal to 4w. I'm going to get the w by itself by dividing both sides by 4. So negative 8 divided by 4. Well, 8 divided by 4 is 2. Negative divided by positive is a negative. I just did it. I divided by a positive number, so my arrow stays the same. And we have a w right there. Again, I like to rewrite this as w is greater than or equal to negative 2. So I'm going to have my negative 2 goes there, filling it in because it's greater than, right? So w is greater than or equal to negative 2. Because it's greater, we're going to go this direction and draw my arrow going to the right because that's where greater is going to be. Okay, number 3. We have negative 25t less than or equal to 400. So we'll divide both sides by negative 25. So because I'm dividing by a negative, my arrow has to change directions. And 400 divided by 25, well, think about kind of 25. It takes 4 to get to 100. So it's going to take 16 to get there. So it's going to be a negative 16. Alright, so t is greater than or equal to negative 16. So I take negative 16, fill in the circle, and draw my arrow greater than going that way. Number 5. Alright, we have y over 4 is greater than or equal to 2.4. Okay, so to get this one to work, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, or multiply by 4, because divided by 4 would multiply by 4. Okay, so that goes away. So y is greater than or equal to, 4 times 4 is 16, carry the 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. I have 1 digit behind a decimal, so I'll move it over there. So y is greater than or equal to 9.6. So I find 9.6, fill in the circle, and get my arrow going the correct way. Alright, number 7. Number 7, we have negative 8 is greater than k over negative 0.4. Alright, so what we're going to do, we have to multiply both sides by negative 0.4 times 0.4 negative, right? So that goes away. Because I'm multiplying by a negative, I'm going to change my sign. So k is now going to be greater than. 8 times 4 is 32. I have a negative times a negative, so it's positive, but I have 1 digit behind a decimal, so this becomes 3.2. Or to rewrite it nicely, we would say k is greater than 3.2. So just greater than, open circle, go in this direction, and that's our inequality. Okay, let's see what we have next. Number 9. Okay, to solve this one, divide by 13, divide by 13, so a is greater than or equal to negative 2. Number 11. We're going to divide, so we have negative 3m greater than negative 33. Divide both sides by negative 3, negative 3. So I have m. Change the sign. Why? Because we're dividing by negative, so I'll go this way. 33 divided by 3 is 11. Negative divided by negative is positive, so it stays right there. A lot of Starbucks orders coming out right now. That's what happens when you're at the airport. The line has been about, I'd say 40 people long since 4:30 this morning. Yep, that's right. Okay, so to get number 13, to get m by itself, we're going to multiply both sides by negative 5. So let's do 0.8 times negative 5. 5 times 8 is 40. Positive times negative is negative. 1 decimal, so we have 4. I'm going to have n still, but because I'm multiplied by a negative, I need to change the direction of the arrow so that n is less than or equal to 4. Number 15, I'm going to multiply both sides by 4.5. 4.5, multiplying there, it goes away. Positive, so the sign stays the same. C stays there. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 2 is 22. We have 1 digit behind the decimal, so we have 22.5 is greater than or equal to C. Number 17, we have negative 1/3 x greater than or equal to negative 9. We're going to multiply this by the reciprocal, negative 3 over 1 times negative 3 over 1. Again, this reduces to 1. So x is greater, I would say greater than or equal to, but I can't do that, right? Why? Oh, careful. Because I multiplied by a negative number. So change the direction of the arrow. And now we have a negative times a negative is a positive. 3 times 9 is 27. So x is going to be less than or equal to 27. Okay, a couple more to go here. We want to do the quotient of a number and 12. Well, quotient is a fancy way of saying division. So the quotient of a number and 12, so a number divided by 12, is no more than, which means it is less than or equal to 3. So a quotient of a number and 12 is no more than, so it can't be bigger than, but it can be equal to 3. To solve that, we would then multiply both sides by 12, so that n is less than or equal to 36. Number 21, the product of negative 1/3 in a number, so negative 1/3, and product means multiply, is less than negative 36. Okay, so we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, negative 3 times a negative 3. N, change the direction of the arrow because multiplied by a negative. 36 times that is 18 carry the 1, 108. Negative negative is a positive, so n is greater than 108. And finally our last one here. We have a number divided by 4 is more than 16. So we solve by multiplying both sides by 4. N is greater than, in this case here, 64. Alright, that's it. So basically working the same way you do with equations and inequality, it's equations before, you just have to remember that one little trick about changing the direction of the arrow when you multiply or divide by negative numbers. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.